And we are back with another episode of From the Rafters. Sam and I are here recording Thursday, May 6th, after the Celtics game versus the Magic. I mean, going into that one, obviously, Sam was looking at the schedule earlier this week on our last show, mapping out the games Celtics should win and the
They
ones
really
that
should
might be
lose.
tough. And
No
and
excuses. They
the
shouldn't
Magic
drop any
game, I
more
mean,
games. Even to Miami. Miami's good,
exceeded your
but
expectations. Or is that
they
exactly what you thought they should do?
what? That
The
they should
Magic
win
game.
against
Well,
Orlando?
no, but like to that degree. I mean, versus.
Yeah, no. See, like that right there. If you're the Celtics, that is you frame it. That is the epitome of what you're supposed to do against a shit team. Not what you did against OKC. Not what you did against Charlotte in the first game. Even though Charlotte's not a shit team, but they were when they're playing you unhealthy. Yeah, I mean, you slap him around by 30. Taco starts ISOing against Mo Bamba. I was cracking up. He just straight pulled back, and he said, let me go out. I thought he was going to shoot a three, honestly. I thought he was going to do a step back.
That'd have been nasty.
He hit him with a mean dream shake, which I didn't know he could do that.
Yeah,
People were saying he traveled. They didn't call the travel. The weep.
Kemba Walker said that he works on it all the time, apparently, in his interview. Which
Did he really?
Intriguing. But
Kemba Walker, by the way, excellent. Kemba Walker.
Game.
Let's see. When's the last time he played before? Let's see, the Charlotte game, and he
missed 4 in a row. He missed 4 in a row before that
game. He was decent. He missed the Brooklyn game because that was back to back. So 2 of his last 3 games, he scored 30 points.
Yeah, he's been nasty. I mean, 32 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, extremely efficient shooting. You're not saying you're going to get that every night from Kemba, but it's nice.
You could. You've got it 2 out of the last 3.
True.
This is, and I'm not like hyping it up. Like, he has significantly improved since returning from the knee thing. Since January, he has improved. He is looking better and better with every game he plays. He's going to get another go at being the second option tomorrow night against Chicago on Friday. And we're going to see. We're going to see if he's still got it. Fournier looking better as well. But I'm really impressed with Kemba. I'm happy. This is what all of the fans have been clamoring for. He's starting to play well. And, I mean, you think about trading him, and it's something that people have talked about all season. He is looking like someone you don't want to trade. 30 points in 2 of the last 3 games he has played.
Yeah.
Granted, it is Orlando, but Phoenix is a good. Well, let me retract that. Phoenix sucks. Okay, they needed to beat Atlanta to do the good old boys in green a favor yesterday. And what do? They come out in the 4th quarter and give up 16 unanswered points. Come on.
Ugly. Very, very ugly. Suns scored 15 points in the 4th quarter, gave up 38. Not a great showing for Phoenix. Great showing for Atlanta, just not exactly what you want to see as a Celtics fan. Very unfortunate.
I apologize if when I scream like that, it's very loud for anyone listening. I don't imagine it's like extremely loud because I do it on Xbox and it happens. I use the same headset. But I mean, yeah, Phoenix, absolute disgrace. You lose, but you get 30-pieced. You're the top team in the West. What are you gonna do when you play the Lakers in the play-in? Those bums. They can't even get out of the play-in. Clowns.
Top team in the league. Best team in the NBA, supposedly, in terms of record.
Not on my watch. Clowns.
But going back on Kemba a little bit. I mean,
it sucks.
It comes down to the argument we've been making all season. When he's playing well, you don't want to trade him, but he has all the value. But when he's playing bad, he has no value, but you want to trade him because of the contract. It's just an impossible situation. And this isn't me complaining because obviously the way he's been playing lately has been phenomenal. He's been great. I have no complaints about Kemba, but it comes down to the fact that, and maybe he can do this. Like, if he can do this consistently, obviously you want him on the team. But if this injury is nagging, if he can't play back-to-backs next season, if it drags on, do you know what I'm saying? There's all these questions that are kind of up in the air that I'm looking forward to the playoffs because there are no back-to-back games, and I think that's his, chance to shine a little bit. But, I'm looking forward to it. I'm curious to see because I don't think the Celtics were fully healthy in that Suns game. Were they? Were they down a player?
Fournier wasn't playing.
Maybe. I'm curious to see.
I'm not sure Robert Williams was playing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Was one of the Jays out, though? That's what I'm trying to remember. Or were they both?
Yeah, Jaylen Brown didn't play in that game either.
Okay, yeah. So I'm curious to see the trend this season. And again, this isn't a complaint. I'm not trying to pin anybody against each other. But I'm curious to see the trend of Kemba playing well versus when one of the Jays is out. Because I feel like he steps up, which is a good thing. But I also want to see him play well as that third option, which I think could be a point where he's struggling. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you're seeing that too, right? Because that's a pattern.
Yes, yeah, because obviously there's just not as many shots for him. But you have to think there really haven't been a whole lot of games where they've all played together. Because I'm trying to think myself, I'm like, oh, like, when is the last time they all played together and they all played well? It's a tough one. I can't think off the top of my head. He had a good game. He said he had good games against Philly, and Tatum was not playing. Oh my gosh.
It's weird.
I don't know if it was Denver. There was one game where he came out and he was like, it might have been Denver. There was one game he came out and he was the only guy that could score recently.
Maybe.
And everybody,
I think, was playing. He scored 32 3 times. I want to look at the box scores.
32. What's the third one?
Indiana. Against Indiana earlier this season, he scored 32, and the Jays were both playing. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Kemba Walker, almost a fully healthy team. Jason Tatum struggled in that game, 4 of 18, so maybe that's where Kemba picked up the slack. But I like you said, I'm curious to see the last game that they all played well. You know what I'm saying, and all scored together. But I'll look for it. But
I mean, that's the point of a team. I mean, you are going to have games where guys don't play well. You know what I'm saying? Like you're going to have to pick up the slack. There's times where, the stars aren't going to play well. And if you're going to win, you need the secondary scorers smart. Even Fournier, if you want to put him in there as a secondary scorer, maybe somebody like Pritchard, Neesmith even. I mean, we have seen all of those guys have impactful games for winning. Fournier played good against Portland, even though they didn't come out on top, unfortunately. Smart has had games this season where he's been excellent. He revived them in a couple of games. In the third, he was Mr. Third Quarter for a little while, where he was really bringing it, reviving the team, starting up comebacks. People are really going at Smart. We can talk about this after we're done with this, but I don't think it's completely fair.
No, yeah. I mean, it's interesting to see people still get mad at him. I was still looking around for those games where Kemba might have played better. But
that's how rare they are, people. I mean, Jack, the stat man, can't even find them.
Well, I can't find a game where they all played well. Like, I'm looking at Kemba's top scoring games. Yeah, I'm like, one of them was the Warriors game where they all won, but Tatum still didn't shoot particularly well in that one. I mean, actually, wait, no. Okay, the Warriors game, Jaylen didn't play. I'm sorry. There was another game where, they all played okay.
Might have been the Warriors game where Kemba was the one that carried them early. That might have been the one I was thinking about.
Maybe Tatum did have 44 in that game though. That was
but he was second half guy. I think from what I remember, he was going off in the second half.
Yeah,
Kemba had an excellent game in that game because I remember he came out in the third quarter and made 3 threes in a row.
Yeah, I got you. Maybe it was this. Oh, I think it was this game. I think this might have been the game where they all played well. Kind of. Tatum and Brown didn't shoot very efficiently. Yeah, never mind. I was looking at this is the Raptors game where Shem usually dropped 24 points. Yeah, and ignore me. That's not the game. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. There has to have been one that we can't think of, but yeah, I'm looking forward to the playoffs. I think that'll be a good chance to shine. But Marcus Smart is the next thing you brought up, and I do think he's catching a little bit too much slack. I mean, he obviously even last night you didn't really see it, but he only shot 1 for 6 from the field and 1 for 3 from deep. Like he wasn't good, but he made impact other places on the floor, which is like what most people have been begging Smart to do for years. And now they're still complaining, oh, he's not shooting well. He's doing exactly what you've asked him to do for years. And now you're going to complain about something else. Like that's ridiculous. He had 9 assists, 3 rebounds, a steal. Like he played Marcus Smart basketball and he only played 29 minutes. He played a little less than 30. I mean, he did exactly what he needed to do to get the Celtics to win. And they won by almost 40 points. I don't understand how you can be complaining about that.
Yeah, Marcus. So the knock on Marcus has been, first of all, people are pissed about the suspension he got and the ejection. They think he's out of control. The suspension, the ref probably deserved whatever he said to him. The ejection, I honestly, put yourself in that situation. You're trying to fight around a pick. Danny Ainge said it on the radio today. You use your arm to get around people, and he's falling. I just think about how quick of a scenario that is. You really think he was falling down? He had the presence of mind to try and punch Nurkic in the balls? No, he didn't. I don't understand why people think maybe it is a reputation thing, I guess. But aside from that, he's been changing the way he's played recently. He's not taking a ton of shots. He's not a chucker. He's not George Costanza. He's not just chucking in the gym. But except for the OKC game where he had to because nobody was playing. Fournier couldn't hit the side of a barn because of COVID. I think he was playing in that game.
Yeah.
It was just Tatum. No, it was just Jaylen Brown in that game. He was the only one of the top 3 guys playing. So Marcus Smart, of course, needs to assume a bigger role. He didn't shoot well in it. But aside from that, all April, from what I remember, he's been a pass-first guy. He's been taking better shots. Every once in a while, he'll take one that's a little bit crazy, but that's just, I mean, like you said, he only took 6 shots yesterday. And that's without Jaylen Brown playing.
Yeah, and that OKC game, Smart and Fournier combined to shoot 8 of 31 from the floor.
Yeah,
and,
it was tough showing.
3 of 19 from deep. Jaylen Brown had 39. Peyton Pritchard had 28. I mean, they carried the scoring load. Marcus Smart struggled. But like you said in that one, who else was going to take those shots? Like, neither of those second 2 guys were good, so Smart kind of had to step up, and it didn't fall for him that day. But it's not the end of the world. People have bad days, and Marcus Smart has been one of the staples on this team for years, so I think it's a little bit ridiculous to criticize him. Also, I think the ejection, the technical, the yelling at the refs, no one else on the Celtics is going to do that. Like, there's no one else on the Celtics that's going to man up, say something back, get the team fired up. Like, Jason Tatum's not going to get ejected.
Yeah, that's his role.
Not going to get ejected.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what he's got to do. I mean, Tristan Thompson, maybe that'd be entertaining at the very
Tristan Thompson does not have the voice to do that. You ever hear Tristan? You do. You do the pressers. Yeah. The first time I heard Tristan Thompson, I think I might have said this on the show. If I didn't, I said it in an Xbox party. I said, "Dude, he does not sound like you think he would sound when he talks. He sounds like a white guy. He does. I mean, if you took him, like if you gave me audio and no video, I wouldn't. And I didn't know what he sounded like already. I would have no idea who that is.
Very interesting. He gets fired up though. I mean, we've seen it. Marcus Morris yelling in his face. You've seen the beat.
Good for Tristan. I like him. He says some good stuff. I mean, he's got some good quotes. He's a good leader from everything I've heard. Even though he loves to go get some COVID, but since he has been back, he's been playing really inspired ball. He was a big part of the San Antonio comeback, battling on the boards. He's a good piece, man. And let's talk about coming into the playoffs here. You've got 6 games left, 2 against Miami, 1 against Chicago before that. There's one I'm forgetting. You've got Minnesota, New York back-to-back to end the season. Who else am I forgetting? They go Cleveland. They play Cleveland. So literally like a week and a half left of basketball here before the playoffs. So you have Fournier, who's playing better basketball again. Okay? He's a role player on this team. You have Pritchard, who's probably playing the best ball that he's played all season. And that's saying a lot because he was hot out of the gate. Neesmith is playing the best basketball of the season. No questions asked. He's been an impact player, and now he's making shots as well. That's huge. So you've got 3 guys that are kind of found money as it is. Now you've got Tristan Thompson, who has recovered from his second battle with COVID, and he's making an impact on the glass. So that's your bench right there. That's what you need. You need to get everyone else healthy now. Kemba Walker is starting to look like he's playing the best basketball of the season. Jaylen Brown had, like you said, big nights over the last couple weeks. OKC, obviously the Lakers game. He's had some tremendous performances himself. Tatum playing the best basketball of his career. He tied the scoring record. He broke a career high that he set 3 weeks before at 53. These guys are all playing terrific ball. And now Marcus Smart, the little pinky on my hand, if you're watching on YouTube, is passing the ball like everyone wants him to. This team is really looking like it might be prepared for a good playoff run. If I'm one of the top teams, I don't want to see them in the first round. If I'm Philadelphia, I don't want to see the Celtics in the first round. If I'm Brooklyn, especially Brooklyn, dude, I'm telling you, like, playing Brooklyn in the first round might actually be the move.
Interesting take.
I'm not saying it's like a guaranteed win, but if you are going to beat them, that might be your best crack at it, unless somebody gets hurt, like going into the deep playoffs. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's not my ideal. But before we get into the first
round,
no,
I'm not saying I want that. That's not who I prefer to play.
Of course.
But if you have to play him, you might want to play him early on.
That's fair. I did want to point this out. I saw a stat from Stool Greeny earlier. Celtics rotation right now, they have 5 players shooting at least 38% from deep. Pritchard 42.4, Jalen 39.7, Fournier 39.3, Tatum 39.1, Nesmith 38.5. And I think that's over the course of the whole season.
And
So
Kemba is just behind them at like 37 over his last 30 games. Even though that stuff you said is for the whole season, Kemba getting back up to speed at like 37%. So that's good too.
I believe that's for the whole season. And what's incredible about that is, I mean, the jump for Aaron Nesmith, like that's absolutely ridiculous from him because he was shooting like 33% to start the year, and now this hot stretch has bumped him up all the way there. Also, of note, Shemi Ojeleye shooting 38%, Grant Williams shooting 37%.
I told you, man, that man Grant is a shooter. I tell you, every time he shoots, I think it's going in.
Mm-hmm. Kemba Walker shooting just under 36%, so not as great there. Marcus Smart having a down year at 33.6% after a hot start. But
even though back in the day, like 10 years ago, 33 isn't that bad. No, I'm serious.
Not anymore. I know back in the day, but not anymore as much. Romeo struggling. Luke Cornett had a little bit of a dip. Carson struggling as well, but you got those main guys. Those main shooters, man, they're playing great basketball. It's great to see the team, as Brad Stevens has said, peaking at the right time, which is exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, he's right.
It's great to see. But you mentioned Brooklyn in the first round. You want to explain your thoughts there? I know, obviously not ideal, but like you're saying.
No, obviously it's not ideal, but I mean, this is a team that hasn't played a ton of games together as healthy. When they have been healthy, they've been very good. That is true. However, you've got 3 guys that are all kind of head cases. And if you do get a nice punch in, maybe you shake them up a bit. Maybe you get in their heads. I mean, dude, the Celtics are deep. When they are healthy, and I know it's if they are healthy, and we keep saying it as fans, but it's starting to look like they might actually be healthy here pretty soon. When they're healthy, they are damn deep, man. Pritchard is balling out, Nesmith balling. Like I just said, Fournier balling out. All these guys are going to be coming off your bench, ideally, and they're all balling out. Like, that's huge.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's great. I mean, I don't want to, whatever the ruffle your feathers, is that the term? But I know you won't like to hear this. Brooklyn doesn't have a terrible bench either, Sam.
I know they don't.
Marquee
it pisses
guys,
me off they don't.
I know
they should.
Do. I know
those guys on their bench really aren't that good, but they're playing really good. You know what I'm saying?
Having great seasons. They found a very
Landry Shamet,
important niche. Yeah.
He was all right in Philadelphia. He went to the Clippers and he was bad. Now he's good again. Bruce Brown has never really been super impactful before going to the Nets, and now he's good. Blake Griffin decided to start trying again, which is annoying. Who's the other one? I mean, Joe Harris obviously is a good player. Jeff Green, that's annoying that he's impacting, winning. Like, it's a bunch of guys that really shouldn't be playing that well, and they are. And maybe credit Steve Nash for that. I mean, I don't know. Maybe credit the amount of reps they're getting, because none of those stars play.
Realistically, I credit James Harden for that. I mean, the guy is passing the ball at an elite level to those guys, getting them good looks. Joe Harris, obviously, too. He's there. He's always been a good shooter. Jeff Green. I'm going to read you their three-point shooters this season. Joe Harris shooting 48%. Yeah, Jeff Green, ridiculous. 39%. Landry Shamet, 38.8%. Tyler Johnson, 36%. Blake Griffin, 36.7% from 3-on-3 attempts a game. Like, they've got shooters. They've got guys that play really, really well for them.
Blake Griffin should have to be fined or something for what he did. That's if I'm a Pistons fan, I'm legitimately upset.
Yeah, he scammed the league.
He didn't try when he's playing for your team. He sat out games. I don't know the whole story. I'm pretty sure he was supposedly hurt for a while.
Realistically, I wouldn't be too mad if I'm a Pistons fan, because he's off the roster now. He's going to be off the books soon. Exactly.
Pistons they weren't going to win anyway, but it's just annoying from an NBA standpoint. Guys shouldn't get rewarded for that, and they got to figure out something with the buyouts, because that's ridiculous. LaMarcus Aldridge doesn't have the heart problem. I mean, he's still on the team too, and he's a good player. So
yeah,
that's another thing. I mean, they're getting these guys for free that are high-level talent, even though if they're a little bit old, like Blake Griffin is trying again. He hadn't dunked in 2 years, Jack, and now he's doing putback dunks, and one of his first baskets as a net was a dunk. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't like that. And it's even if it was in the West and it was Phoenix they went to, and all of a sudden they're playing well, I'd still be upset. It's not. It does it hurt a little bit more there in the East, yeah, but it's still annoying. It's not fair to other teams.
Yeah. It's definitely, a little bit enraging to see them just do whatever they want, but that's the way the league is. It's a players' league and it
Yeah,
sucks,
they
but
got to change that. Enough
it
of that.
happens. It happens. Yeah, I mean, I would counter your point with I think the Celtics realistically are in probably one of the best places in the Eastern Conference in terms of who they could possibly face. Because
What you mean in the first round or just in general?
yeah, in the first round. In the first
All
round.
right.
So realistically, this is the way I see it. Even past that, maybe. So it depends on who gets the 1 seed, but Brooklyn and Philly are fighting right now. Realistically, first
Philly
round.
has it right now.
Worst case scenario, this is hoping they avoid the play-in. If they get in the play-in, all bets are off, right? But if they manage to get the 4, 5, or 6 seed, right? At worst case, they play the Knicks. I think at worst case, if they get 4 and 5,
worst case, they play the Knicks. You would rather play Milwaukee than the Knicks?
If Giannis is hurt.
Giannis isn't hurt though. He played.
Oh, is he back?
Yeah, he played against Washington. They were complaining about some call at the end of the game.
Okay, fine. Even better. Worst case, they play the Bucks, who I'm not scared of. I'm not scared of the Bucks.
Yeah, Celtics did their job against the Bucks this year.
They
I agree. I'm with you on that. But still, it's not ideal to play them in the first round. No. Like you want to save. I think the ideal matchup is Atlanta because they don't play a whole lot of defense.
Yeah, but Celtics got demolished by Atlanta this season.
Well, they also had Rondo in that game where they got demolished. Danilo Gallinari wasn't missing any shots.
It's true.
But I do agree, Atlanta kicked their ass this season. They did they got one on them.
I'd still rather play Atlanta than New York, though. I'd rather play Atlanta than New York.
Yeah, you'd also rather play them than Milwaukee. That's what I'm saying. Like, out of those two teams, you'd want to play Atlanta the most.
My point is,
there's no easy matchup at this point.
Exactly, but none of them scare me to the point where I don't think the Celtics can win the series. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I think the Celtics can fight and win each of those series. The Knicks, the Hawks, and the Bucks even. I think
they should, no questions asked, beat New York and Atlanta, even though New York's playing tremendous basketball. Milwaukee, if they lose, it's understandable, but I still think they should be able to beat. I don't know. I'm biased. I think the Celtics have a shake against anybody, regardless, just because that's the game. You play for a reason. I think you should always have a chance against somebody, even though when bad teams play the Celtics, I don't think that. But as far as the Celtics go, it just the way they play, the way they show up sometimes and then they don't. That team that shows up is in there somewhere, and it gives you this false hope that they really could compete with Milwaukee in the first round if they had to. Or if they get past that, they could play Philly well or Brooklyn, which they could because realistically, they're very deep right now when they're healthy. And I keep saying when they're healthy, it's been an issue all year. The training staff does need to go. And that's kind of a joke, but it's also serious because it's been a lingering issue. You had Kyrie's knee problem where he had to have surgery. Obviously, the Hayward thing is a freak accident. That's not their fault. You have Kemba's knee. Jaylen Brown has these little nagging injuries. I mean, we've talked about it on the show before. There's so many little things that I'm not a doctor and I have no degree in physical therapy, anything like that. But I would imagine there are ways to prevent this stuff. I don't know how it works. Maybe it's on the players. Maybe they don't eat the best. Maybe they don't take care of themselves. Who knows? There's a lot of variables that could cause injuries to happen. But the training staff, that's their job to make sure these guys aren't missing with nagging injuries. And they are. And it's annoying as a fan.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely frustrating. Some of the things you can't control, obviously, but I understand your point. Some of those nagging things, there's got to be a way to prevent them. But not that it matters because Celtics fans have higher standards, but the Celtics have officially clinched at least a play-in spot. There's no way they fall out of the play-in. Not that was a real worry in general.
Thank God. I mean, I don't know what I would have done if, somehow Toronto won all of its games and Boston lost all of its games, and then that was it.
Exactly. Also, what a shame the Raptors gonna miss the playoffs this year.
I really thought you were serious when I saw the notification. I have 3 notifications for Jack, and he tweeted that the Raptors are out, and I was like he was like, oh, isn't that a shame? And I was like, is he serious? I was getting on Twitter to talk shit to you. I was gonna be like, you serious? And then I saw you tweeted, give him Nick Nurse, and I was like, oh, he's joking. He's being sarcastic.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously they've had a rough go of it because they're in Tampa this season. Obviously, it can't be easy for them, but at the same time, screw them. I don't care. Nick Nurse is annoying, so it's nice to see them out of the race. But I mean, talking about teams that are blowing up at the seams, the Pacers are an absolute mess. Sam, have you seen those updates?
Yeah, and guess who they play today? Do you know?
Who do they play?
They play Atlanta tonight.
Awesome. Isn't that great? Hopefully they can piece together a win. But I
They
guess
have to. They
Chelsea.
better. They have things to be playing for. I don't know. I haven't watched the Pacers since probably early 2020, 21. Sorry. Since the last time the Celtics played them, that's the last time I watched them. They might
Me
have
as
had
well.
Oladipo at that time. Don't know. What's
I
going on
do.
with the Pacers? I know they were getting tossed around by the Kings yesterday, but they only lost by like 10, believe it or not. Like it wasn't
Yeah.
that much of a
So
blowout, even though like it was.
apparently, I mean, I'm sure you saw the Woj updates, but Nate Bjorken, their coach, has been having
Yes, they fired.
issues with the players.
They
Well, they
fired
haven't
him.
fired him. No.
No.
There's internal issues. Their assistant coach got suspended today, and Goga Bitadze got fined because of an on-court altercation from the last game. Apparently, they had a good working relationship until now. I mean, they're just a mess. The only bright spot for them is Karis LeVert's averaging 25 points in their last 5 games. So at least they have that going for them, I suppose. So they have some good up and
You know what's
coming
funny to me
pieces.
is like teams trying to reinvent the wheel with coaches. You know what I'm saying? Like there are
Yeah.
coaches out there that have coached teams and done well at coaching. Kenny Atkinson is an assistant coach that they could sign. And they just sign these guys that have never had coached an NBA team before. I don't get it. I mean, yeah, the Celtics did that with Brad Stevens, right? And you're going to find like a diamond in the rough every once in a while. But if you need a coach like
Not an
mid-season,
established team like the Pacers, though. Like that's the weird thing. Like
yeah,
they're a playoff team.
you've got Brad Stevens, and he was with this team through the whole come up. Like they didn't just put him in. They could even, take in old friend Brett Brown. I'm sure he's looking for a job. Or, obviously Kenny Atkinson is the one I think of the most. There are other guys.
Alvin Gentry.
Alvin Gentry.
Coach.
I mean, they fired Nate McMillan. Well, I don't know why they did that.
You know where he is now?
Yeah, he's in Atlanta, and they're kicking ass with him as the coach. I genuinely don't understand why they did that. That's it. That's a prime example of like why blaming the coach is bad. Okay, that's why in all the people that want Brad Stevens fired, look at that as an example. Nate McMillan is obviously a good coach. He led those Pacers teams that weren't exactly star-studded to decent playoff seedings over the last couple of years, right? They got 4 or 5 a couple times. They almost beat the Cavs 3 years ago. I believe he was the coach of that team. If I'm wrong, please correct me.
Nate McMillan, I think he was still there. No,
he was the coach when they went to 7 against the Cavs. I mean, look, people love to blame the coach, and
I've got some interesting news for you too. I just saw Greeny tweet this.
Right.
And it connects to the Celtics. I didn't mean to cut you off, but when news of Nate Bjorken, since we're talking about the Pacers, when news of Nate Bjorken's hire became public last year, TJ Warren requested a trade from the Pacers. And Greeny's speculation was, is this why Danny Ainge asked for Warren in the Hayward offer? ? So coming back together right there, I suppose. They're really interesting, but yeah, they're just a mess. I mean, it's blowing up in their face. They need to hit reset. Pacers are one of those teams that have too much pride to ever hit the rebuild mode. They need to hit it.
The problem with the Pacers is like they're just in the middle. Like they're good enough to be in the playoffs. They have decent talent, but they don't have anybody that's going to put you over the top. They don't have anybody that makes you afraid to play them in the playoffs.
No.
That's the same thing with the Knicks. Yeah, Julius Randle's balling out.
Julius Randle scares me than any more on the Pacers roster, though, I will say.
No, yeah. Obviously, he's better than all them, but he's not Giannis, he's not KD, he's not Embiid. Let's go out west. He's not Kawhi, he's not LeBron James, he's not Lillard, he's Jason Tatum.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not even like Devin Booker, Chris Paul, those guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
it's just
Donovan
a different
Mitchell.
level.
Yeah, exactly. Those teams that have proved it. I would even hesitate to guess right now, I might be out of anybody in the play-in and the 5 seed and below outside of maybe Miami. The Wizards are probably one of the scariest teams right now. Realistically, I don't want to play them.
I hope they get in because they're not going to play the Celtics.
They're going to get in.
Let them knock out one of the top teams.
Dude, I saw this somewhere on Twitter. How amazing would it be to see a Nets Wizards first round series, Westbrook versus KD? That'd be so great. That'd be such a great series, right?
Have we had that yet? Have we had Westbrook KD yet?
Not in a 7-game series.
Yeah, that would be something, huh?
That'd be amazing, right?
I would love it if they beat the Nets. They'd be doing everyone a favor.
Yeah, I mean Harden there too, Beal and Kyrie. That like the star power in that series would just be phenomenal. I'd be excited, and I mean, obviously Daniel Gafford's not a big name, but the Wizards are I think 10-2 since trading for Daniel Gafford. Maybe they just got hot, but they have another big man there. They're playing their best basketball right now. I can look at the NBA standings for you and tell you where exactly the Wizards lie. I believe they're the 10 seed right now, half a game behind the Pacers for the 9 seed, only 2.5 games back of the Hornets for the 8 seed. They're surging 7-3 in their
Playing
last
starts
10.
when?
The
The 18th,
I don't know.
19th? 19th,
Date,
I think.
something like that. I'm looking.
Get excited thinking about it. I don't even like watching other teams, really.
Key dates. Yeah, no, I mean, the play-in's going to be definitely entertaining to watch regardless. I'm looking right now. Play-in tournament, May 18th to the 21st is the play-in tournament. So there you go.
That's fucked up. Imagine, like, the Celtics got in the play-in. Like, they play the 17th, but they have to play, like, a back. They would play 3 games in a row if that was the case.
Teams are probably going to have to do that. And you know what's even more effed up? There's going to have to be a back-to-back in there for some teams. Because, right, think about it. Like, multiple teams play the 18th. You take and then the 19th, everyone's supposed to have off, and then they play the 20th, and then the 21st. Like 18 through 21 is only 18, 19, 20, 21. That's only 4 days. There's gonna have to be back-to-backs being played in there, and then the playoffs start the 22nd. So I mean, I would assume they space it out.
The playoffs, they'll just put them on the next day.
Yeah, but still,
there are 4 series. There's usually 4 games per day on a weekend slate for the playoffs. They'll have, if they have to. They can have 4-5, 4-5, 3-6, 3-6, and then the other teams will play the day. I
will say though, I try to watch more, outside of Celtics games than you do. But
you and I are different.
But hey, even this year though, I'm extremely excited to watch the playoffs. And even you said you're gonna watch.
I watch the playoffs. I will watch playoff basketball if it's not the Celtics. With no fans at games, it's very difficult for me to watch games when it's not the Celtics.
I got you. I mean, I wrote
because nobody cares. Nobody that is in the building cares. I mean, the players care, but there's nobody that has stake in it. It's just those.
I wrote the Hornets recap for their game the other day. They played the Pistons. No Gordon Hayward, no Devontae Graham, no Malik. No, Malik Monk might have played. No PJ Washington, no Miles Bridges, no Jeremy Grant for the Pistons. So that was a very depleted game. It was a big LaMelo show.
That Orlando injury was something, huh, Jack?
Yeah, that was ugly. I feel bad for them to some degree, but hey, they're getting their young guys.
They're absolutely fine losing.
They need to get into that lottery. This draft class is really good too, so they'll get a big hitter, hopefully. But yeah, I'm excited for the playoffs. I want to run down.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the playoffs, Jack, which we kind of did already. But let's talk about the play-in because you were talking about the back-to-backs. If there are, I don't know how it's going to work, but if there are back-to-backs, Celtics need to avoid that like the plague.
Oh, yeah.
That gives you even more motivation. Of course, you don't want to take the risk of not getting in, and then even your reward playing one of the top teams. But then, I mean, dude, you don't want to have Kemba not playing in an important game. You can't have that. They play awful when Kemba doesn't play.
Yeah, I agree. And luckily for the Celtics, I'm going to read you the Heat schedule for the rest of the season, Sam. We know the Celtics. We went over that. But Timberwolves, Celtics twice, Sixers, Bucks, Pistons. So they've got some tough games. They really do.
That depends.
The Pistons.
So here's the thing: if you're logistically thinking, as a top team, right, Jack? You've got
bench their guys.
No. Well, they might bench their guys, but let's talk about Philadelphia, right? They're competing with Brooklyn for that number 1 seed. With the standings this year, do you even want the 1 seed? I'm gonna tell you why. Because here's why. Because the way it works is the game between 7 and 8, the winner is number 7. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, you're right.
Absolute clown. Never mind.
Wait, no, yeah, you're right. What do you mean? What was your point?
I'm not right. I was saying, no, I am right.
Yeah, I was going to say, I understand where you're going.
7 and 8 is Miami and Charlotte right now, right?
Right now, yeah.
And you said this earlier, those 2 teams are not the Wizards, okay?
No.
If the Wizards get in, they are going to be number 8.
Yes.
Okay.
Most likely.
And I'm only saying for this year in the Eastern Conference. I'm not even saying, the West. But in that situation, do you even want the 1 seed? Do you?
No. I don't know, man. Sixers swept the Wizards this year. I don't know the Bucks Nets record against the Wizards. I know
2-1 so.
But they're a very different team than they were earlier this season, I will say. It's interesting. The Wizards, and there's still a chance the Wizards sneak up into that 7-8 game. They're only
Is
two and a
there?
half games. Yeah, they're only 2.5 games behind the Hornets right now.
That's a long shot.
But,
Celtics are 2 games behind the Knicks. The only reason why that's reasonable is because they play them.
Yeah, that's true. They're only 2 games behind the Knicks. These 2 games against the Heat for the Celtics are going to be the biggest of the season.
Oh, it's like playoffs. It's
Oh,
literally like playoffs. Like that is a mini series right there.
If they win those 2 games, they almost certainly, unless they blow up in their face, they clinch the 6th seed.
It's like me. It's like me thinking about I'm going to fail classes. These are the final assignments that you need to get a good grade on. And this is what do they call it? Moment of truth, I guess. That's not what I was going for.
Oh my gosh. Sam, very interesting scenario. So you mentioned unlikely for the Wizards to climb up.
Right.
Wizards' schedule for the rest of the season is almost all teams they have to beat. So
is it?
Wow,
crazy.
They play the Raptors. They play the Pacers. They play the Hawks twice. They play the Cavs. Then they play
they play the Hawks twice.
Yep. Then they play the Hornets the last game of the season.
Stay hot, Wizards.
The Wizards stay hot.
That like back when I was trying to grow Parquet Press, if you don't know, that was my like little WordPress site back in the day before I met Jack.
Yeah.
I did like little follow things. I follow this guy that's like a Westbrook fan. Dude, like people that are fans of like a player are the most annoying people. Like that they don't watch the game for like the team. Like, I don't know. It just annoys me. I don't like that. I don't like it. But people love Westbrook, man. I don't know. I think he's a prick, to be honest.
I mean, he's good. He's really good. You can't deny the greatness, though. You can think of his prick all you want, but he's a great player.
He's winning now. He's winning regular season games. He does average a triple-double. Good for him.
If there's a guy that you're gonna crap on for winning, I mean the way I know he was only the
I'm joking. To be honest,
I know.
I was thinking about it yesterday. I was like, like that was one guy no one wanted to touch in the offseason. And if the Celtics really wanted to go nuts, they could have traded for him for Kemba.
For Westbrook?
Yeah.
Maybe. You never know. And he did lead that Thunder team when KD left to the 7th seed. I know it was only the 7th seed, but
I don't care about that. I'm gonna be honest.
That team
he won MVP because he got a triple-double, but he averaged triple-double, but I couldn't care
with no help. Anyways, I digress. Other news, James Harden said he is very confident he will be back before the postseason. Shocker there. I don't think anybody's surprised by that.
Of course he's going to play in the postseason. That's why he bitched his way out of Houston.
But, analyzing this plan a little bit more for you. The Hornets schedule, they play the Bulls tonight, the Magic tomorrow on back-to-back. Pelicans, then they have Nuggets, Clippers, Knicks, Wizards. So the Hornets have a very tough go of it with no Gordon Hayward. PJ Washington will be back. He had a kid, so he had a personal day the other day. So
PJ Washington,
struggling.
A Chris Middleton type against the Celtics.
Yes, he is. And then
not,
you got
not
the Pacers.
Big fan of PJ Washington.
Then you got the Pacers, tough schedule. Oh God, the Pacers have it rough too, man. They have the Hawks, the Wizards, then the Cavs. Then
Need a big day from the Pacers tonight. I don't know if I can watch that game national at work, but I will be looking. I will be looking to watch that game somewhere.
Not a national, unfortunately.
We'll not be watching an illegal stream on the work computer, just in case you don't want to, screw it up. But we'll be looking on the ESPN website, just like I did yesterday, and I saw Atlanta score 16 unanswered just the fourth quarter against the Poverty Suns.
I can tell you what NBA games are on ESPN tonight if you'd like to know.
TNT. Clown.
TNT.
It's one of them's Lakers, Clippers, and actually that might be tomorrow.
NBA on TNT tonight. Let's take a look. Where do I find that? Am I stupid? Maybe I am.
You just go to ESPN.com. It'll be right at the top.
Thursday, May 6th. It's Nets, Mavericks, and then Lakers, Clippers for you.
I couldn't care less about that Nets game. I don't like watching the Nets. I just feel like they should win every time. So like anytime they play somebody, it's like not even fun to watch.
True. I mean, hey, the Mavs helped us out the other day. Beat the Heat. That was a big game.
Good guy, Mavs, dude.
Shout out, Luka.
They owed them after Luka shot the fadeaway from half court and he made it at the Garden. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that was ugly, but the Wizards have a real chance to grab that 8 seed, man. And looking out west, our boys, the Lakers, they're struggling. They're on the struggle bus. Oh no. They've got their
Mickey Mouse Clubhouse clown car, whatever you want to call them. They are struggling. They play the Clippers today. Always been
due to
big
their
on the
schedule.
Clippers. They've been my favorite West team, probably just because of Doc was there for a while, and then obviously Paul Pierce was there, so you always kind of root for him. No time to root for him like the present. Let me tell you.
I mean, big Dame fans as the Blazers try to clinch that 6th seed. We're huge Damian Lillard fans.
Yeah, the
Right
Lakers
now,
can
so.
go to hell, man. Honestly, I see like when you go on YouTube, I don't even look at my subscribe tab anymore. I just kind of see the recommended stuff. And it's like
Yeah.
one video I keeps coming up. It's like how the Lakers built their like team or a super team, and like all I think I'm like they bought a super team. They didn't build it. They bought it. They signed LeBron,
They signed 2
and then
guys, and
Anthony Davis said he wanted to play there because LeBron was there,
they
so they
asked.
traded.
Yeah. They didn't. The Warriors built a super team. That's what
Yeah,
they
the
did.
Warriors built a team. The Celtics built a team. Brooklyn bought a team. Who else is good? Philadelphia built a team. Clippers
Yeah.
bought a team. Phoenix, they built a team.
The
Utah built a team.
Nets. You could argue the Nets.
No,
They
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 bought the team. They
okay.
signed Kyrie and KD. Jack, that's that's their team.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they
Okay.
traded
The
for
Thunder.
Harden.
The old Thunder with the KD Westbrook. They built.
Yeah,
the
they
team.
built that. Yeah, no,
All right.
I'm talking about present teams though.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. Shout out. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the Lakers' schedule the rest of the way is no easy task, Sam.
Clowns.
So you got some things to look out for.
Yeah, the
Clippers
problem is
tonight,
I'm pretty sure they played the Knicks. The Knicks are in
they
there
do.
somewhere, right? Yeah,
They
that's
do.
a tough one for me.
They let me read this to you. Clippers tonight, Blazers tomorrow. That's gonna be a huge game for the
That's a
Portland
big game. Is that
to win.
national?
Um,
That's a nice late game for me to
ESPN,
watch at work. Yeah, I'll
ESPN,
probably watch that at work.
10 p.m. ESPN. Then they got the Suns the day. The Suns the 9th. Then they have the Knicks, like you said. Then they have Rockets, Pacers, Pelicans. So not too hard to end the year, but they've got a few key games coming up. And then the Blazers schedule the rest of the way. Let me read it out to you. Lakers, Spurs, Rockets, Jazz, Suns, Nuggets. So
The Lakers have a
Blazers
half game on
Yep.
Portland, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
a half game tonight. Let me look at what are the NBA games tonight. The Lakers play the Clippers. Do the Blazers play? Did I
No,
see that? No.
Blazers played yesterday. They're not going to play 3 in a row. They
Okay.
washed Cleveland yesterday.
So yeah, you're right. So then it's going to be the Lakers. If the Lakers lose tonight to the Clippers, then their next game will be against the Blazers on a back-to-back. So if the Blazers win that, they'll have a full 1-game advantage.
The
on the
dopamine hit
Lakers.
that I'll get from that, and LeBron will be complaining about the play-in. Oh, it's a terrible. I love that you sent me that thing where he said it was a good idea, and then like he turned around and now that the Lakers are in it, it's a bad idea.
Clowns, right? What a clown.
They play the Knicks. Knicks, by the way, and the Nets actually, could have a huge advantage in the playoffs. I'm not sure if they're doing this for basketball, but I know the Yankees and Mets, and we talked about this before the show, are opening potentially to 100% capacity if people are vaccinated. That's some crazy stuff, man. That's awesome. I think, Massachusetts should do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
People, a couple of my friends I guess vaccines aren't FDA approved. I don't know. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. They're probably not if they're saying that. But, I mean, listen, you should reward people for getting it. If you want to start living normal, that's like the step. Like that's part of the process.
100%.
It's a team effort. I mean, obviously, everybody wants to go back and have a full garden. So if that's one of the incentives, people will get it if they're on the fence. I mean, you have to incentivize people. People are
I agree.
not eager to get it, some of them. I mean, one of my friends were potentially planning a vacation. He's not vaccinated. Like, he's going to get vaccinated so we can go.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
exactly.
There you go, right there.
Exactly. But some more, fun news that'll make you happy, Sam.
Right.
Blazers actually took a game off the Lakers. So whoever wins this next game wins.
Oh, it's a tiebreaker?
So, yep.
Like, I wish that game was today because there's no Celtics tonight for me to be excited to watch at work. That's like, I got double action tomorrow. Like, as soon as 7:30 hits tomorrow, I'm like not doing shit. I'm gonna be doing very minimal amounts of work. And tomorrow will be a busy news day. Like, there'll be like 3 accidents. I gotta call the police and figure all that out. We still have like plenty of time too. Like, I don't have to get up out of here really super soon. Oh, I'm pumped. We're having a good show today.
It's great. It's great. It's definitely, interesting to see how this is playing out. I mean, we've done this a few times, but it's coming up to that time of year. We're gonna do our NBA awards show on From the Rafters very soon. Let's go through the playoffs one more time. Let's do it again. We're having a fun time talking about it. I mean, right? We might as well, since the standings are coming into more fruition, right? So we talked a lot about the East play-in. Wizards, Pacers, Hornets, Heat, Celtics are the ones fighting for it right now. Hopefully, we'll count out the Celtics. We'll throw the Heat in that 7 seed purely for the point of optimism as Celtics fans. So let's assume the Wizards, let's assume the Pacers fall. Wizards stay hot. Pacers stay sucking. Pacers get 10. Wizards stay at 9. Heat, Hornets. Who are you taking? Heat, Hornets for the 7 seed. Who's winning that game?
It'll probably be Miami. If Gordon Hayward comes back, it gets interesting. I would love to see Miami lose out because I don't like them either. I'm upset that they had no business going to the finals last year, but they did.
Yeah, tough. So then Pacers, Wizards. I assume you're taking the Wizards.
Yeah, the Wizards will get in, and then they'll beat whoever loses that 8 seed game. I think.
You think Wizards get in regardless?
Yes.
Okay.
You have convinced me.
Then we'll say this. We'll say the Heat get 7, Wizards get 8. Then depending on who gets the 1 seed, right now it's looking like it's going to be the Sixers. Wizards, Sixers in a 7-game series. How many games does that
Philadelphia should win like 6.
6 games? You say the Wizards take 2? That'd be interesting. I mean, I agree with you. I don't think anybody's taking the Sixers. And then you got Heat Nets. That'll be a fun series. Heat against.
It would be fun. I would enjoy that. Listen, no easy layups, as they say on the streets. Brooklyn, like I said, they might be vulnerable in that first round. I'm not saying I want to play them. I'm not saying you're going to beat them, but they might have some chinks in the armor. I mean, just look. One thing I think about when I talk about that is the Celtics in 2008. I mean, they almost lost to Atlanta. They didn't almost lose. I mean, they slapped them around in Game 7, but they went 7 games against Atlanta, who at the time was not very good.
Yeah. So, but who are you taking? Nets or Heat?
Probably Brooklyn. Probably 5 or 6.
Gotcha. That's fair.
Who knows? Maybe Miami turns it up again. I mean, they swept Milwaukee, or do they take them in 5?
I think they. It
might have been 5 games.
I think they swept Milwaukee.
I think it was
exactly
5 because Milwaukee I think might have got Game 5 in overtime. I mean, Game 4 in overtime they won.
Take a look. Yeah, 4-1. You're right.
Yeah.
4-1 series. They won Game 4 in overtime, but yeah,
yep.
Good call. Still very impressive from the Heat last year. But yeah, I'll take Brooklyn as well there. I'm agreeing with you so far. Let's keep going. Where is we at? Yep, right here. Let's assume. I think the Celtics have a chance to jump up to 5, but let's assume they don't, just for the purpose of guessing. Celtics Bucks in a 7-game series. Who you taking?
Dude, I really listen. Like it is bias. Yeah, I'm not saying it's not, but I'll back it up. I think the Celtics handled Milwaukee very well this season, so I think
agree.
They'll handle them in the playoffs too.
I agree 100%.
I think maybe 6 games because I think I don't know if they'll win. Maybe there's no fans, so it won't matter as much. But I think they have a better shot at closing out at the Garden rather than the Fiserv.
What do you mean no fans? They still have some. Obviously,
it's 2,000 people.
They're ramping it up. They're bringing it up.
I'm talking about Milwaukee. I don't know what their thing is. I know the Garden, they're going to have 4,000 now.
Yeah. I thought you were downplaying Celtics home court games, but
no. Well, it is downplayed. It's still downplayed.
Yeah, of course.
Dude, they were down 32 to San Antonio. I mean, they won, but they were down 32 to the Spurs. I mean, Spurs aren't very good. Spurs might be broken, by the way. They got annihilated by the Jazz yesterday. I turned on NBA TV to see if they had the thing where it's kind of like Red Zone where they go around to the different games. Even though when they do that, they don't put on the game you want to watch. It was like Miami against Minnesota the last time I tried to do it, and it was a close game in the 4th, and they were showing me some game I didn't want to see. It wasn't close. It's what is this? Who wants to watch this? Nobody. Is this an ad for League Pass? Is that what it is?
I don't know. Also, before we continue, Nick Wright, our guy Nick Wright.
What did he say? He's the GOAT, to be honest with you. And you know why, and longtime listeners will know why, but dude is so good at his job getting people to talk about him. Even though he says dumb shit and he says things that Celtics fans don't like, he is an irritant and he's excellent at his job. Good for him.
Nikola Jokic winning MVP would be the worst one we've had in 35 years. So
it's kind of true. It's one of those things. Here's the thing about that is usually when you think MVP, right, you think about a guy that's just gonna you quake to play against that guy. Giannis, nobody wanted to play him in the playoffs. let's see who before Giannis. Harden was another guy that was like maybe not. Maybe you don't think
Steph
about that with
Curry,
an
Steph
MVP.
Curry,
Steph
LeBron
Curry was like
James, Kobe Bryant, Tim
LeBron,
Duncan.
Kobe. Like Jokic is an excellent player, and I'm not discounting him, but he is someone that like if you had your choice in the playoffs, like late in the playoffs, Jack, right? Not obviously not the first round. You know, I played Denver, but like let's talk about the conference semifinals last year, right? If you're the Clippers, you can either play who would the Lakers beat? Houston. So obviously you'd want to play Houston. But your realistic options, the two better teams there are Denver and the Lakers. You are going to pick the Lakers, and you're not afraid of Jokic, even though they lost to him. They absolutely lost. I don't know. It's weird. It's like it's kind of like the Julius Randle thing for me. Not saying he's on the same level as him. He's not. Like he's significantly better, but he's still like below like the top guys that like you don't want to play against. If that
See,
makes sense.
I might disagree with you. I think Jokic is top 5 in the NBA. I think he's top 5 player in the
It's
league.
not that it's very difficult for me to explain this. It's
I
just
know.
like
I fully understand what you're
he's
saying.
not
I just
somebody
think
that's going to dominate you. He's not like
I think he
unstoppable.
will though. I think he is though. I think
When
he's
you
fully
saw them,
unstoppable.
they made him quit in Denver, even though let me say the first time they played him, he looked like Bird out there at the Garden. But
yeah, but every superstar has those games. Like
it's true. I don't know. I'm not over the hill with Jokic yet. And your opinion is more valuable than mine because you watch more games than I do. But
no, I just think I mean, looking
and
at
I'm not going to get upset about you disagreeing. I mean, I don't know.
I mean,
Just like it's just one of those things where I don't know. It's like Isaiah Thomas a couple years ago when he was dominating with the Celtics. Like he was like stupid good, but people still didn't fear the Celtics. It's like that.
I mean, just more stats. Nikola Jokic scored 24 points in a quarter yesterday without hitting a three. Like that. How? I'm sorry. Like I don't know. It's just a different level. The way like he gets the ball in his hands.
He is really good. He's like Larry Bird at 7 feet. I don't know. It's very strange for me. I hope he changes my opinion. It's unfortunate Murray's out because
I agree with.
He's got like a lot of potential to be good. I wonder if he can ever win in Denver. I would respect it a lot if he does.
I think Jokic can win in Denver.
Like
I think the Nuggets
win a title.
I know. I think they can. I think the Nuggets will be in the finals in the next 5 years, at the very least. And you can come back on this take. And whether or not they win that finals, I suppose you can debate because there's teams. But I think the Nuggets are in the finals in the next 5 years, without a doubt in my mind. The Jazz maybe, Suns maybe.
Phoenix is probably going to be good for a while.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
They figured out how to be good.
Like Jokic isn't old. Jokic is still a younger guy, right? How old is Nikola Jokic age? And I want to finish our playoff predictions and then wrap up.
Yeah, so what are we talking about? How did we get here? Nick Wright got us here.
But okay. Anyways, yeah. Okay, so then Hawks Knicks 7-game series. Who you taking?
I feel like the Knicks will just slap them around.
That's
just because
I'm saying.
I mean, you're looking. It's so funny. You're looking at the ultimate like defense versus offense playoff series.
Yes, which is
and
great.
In the playoffs, defense is what wins you. Like, when's the last time you saw a team that was like a bad defensive team have a good playoff run? Like that was like really really good.
I saw a stat on this. There really isn't anything.
There's not. Yeah.
I mean, offense, defense are both important, obviously, but you have a bad defensive team do it. So, but yeah. So Knicks, I'll agree with that. Second round, you got Sixers, Celtics. I mean, sorry, Nets, Celtics is going to be.
I'd love Sixers, Celtics.
It'd be Nets, Celtics if the standings.
Yeah. See, the Nets will probably beat them. I don't know how many. That's the weird thing about the Celtics, man. Like, the Celtics could push them to 7, or they could get swept. Like, that's the problem. That's the whole
There's
problem.
There's no in between.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a problem all year. I also think they could beat them. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it could happen. The Celtics, if they figure it out, they have the potential to be really good. And that's why everyone's so upset. It's like I keep talking about school, but my parents, when I was growing up, they would get upset if I got like a B, or like my friends would get money for their report cards. And, my parents always say, like, if we thought like C's were the best you could do, we'd be proud of you. But like, we know you can get an A. And like, that's the same thing with the Celtics. Like, we as fans all know that they are capable of much more than what they've showed this season. There's been injuries, there's been COVID, but there have been times where they're fully healthy and they disappoint you, or close to it and they disappoint you. I mean, I guess you have to advance the Nets. I think if they play Philly, it's a different story. I think they might be able to get one over on Philly.
Yeah, I gotcha. Okay, then the next playoff series would be the Knicks versus the Sixers, which I think would be great as well.
Bully them.
Really?
Who's stopping Embiid? I mean, I guess you'd say it for the Celtics too, but
I
really,
mean,
who's going to compete with
Nerlens
the
Noel.
dominance? No, Jack.
What do you mean?
Who's going to compete
Nerlens
with
Noel.
the dominance of Embiid's presence?
Nerlens-
Right? Like he is such a
Nerlens
dominating force. On no. Listen, I'm not. Let me finish.
Okay.
That he's such a dominating presence on the offensive end, right? Like he gets either an easy basket or he gets fouled. We've seen it 3 times this season. It's been an issue for fans complaining about the officials. Who's going to match that output for the Knicks? That's the problem.
Julius Randle.
He's not going to dominate that much. That's the difference.
I'm not saying
we
Knicks are going to win.
Today. We said he's not dominant like those other players are.
I'm not saying the Knicks are going to win. I think they take it to 6 though. I think they take that
Knicks,
series to 6 games.
maybe 5.
I think they take a couple. That's just,
then again, Ben Simmons still sucks. You got to throw that one in. They have George Hill now, dude. That's like crazy that he's on that team too. That team's really good.
Yeah. I mean, the Nuggets just signed Austin Rivers, and he dropped 25 to beat the Knicks, his former team, yesterday. Which is fun.
Former Celtic Austin.
I'll take Sixers as well.
John Carell for that tweet yesterday. That was baller. I was
one
of the few people that understood that. He said like former Celtic Austin Rivers like doing the Celtics a favor, dominating the Knicks or something like that. Like he got traded here and then they cut him. Like that was it.
Great. And then you got Sixers Nets in the conference finals. Who you taking?
Oh man, that's gonna be a crazy conference finals. We've seen Philly go 7 with the Raptors, who won the title a couple years ago. We've seen them get bullied by the Celtics every other year. So I don't know, man. It's tough when they're not playing the Celtics. Philly could actually be good, but Brooklyn's just too good, man. Like they have so many good players, and then they have good depth, which is annoying.
Philly has won the season series 2-1 against Brooklyn this season.
Yeah, but I mean especially the last game. I mean, Kyrie didn't even play in the fourth quarter. He had 37 points, and like it was a close game. Brooklyn's annoying because you can't really say how good they're gonna be, or like if they're beatable based on season stats. Because like you just said, 2-1 against Philly, or they've lost 2 against Philly. Brooklyn literally hasn't had all their guys play. Like that's the problem. Like they're like the Celtics, but like except they are really consistently not having their best players play, and they're still winning.
Sure, very true. So who are you taking, Brooklyn or Philly?
Man, probably 6.
Brooklyn and 6. I got you. All right, we're gonna speed through the West so we can get to the finals. We're gonna go really quick. Quick hitters here. Spurs Warriors in the 9-10 playing game. Or, I'm sorry, we'll start with the Blazers Grizzlies 7-8. Blazers Grizzlies 7-8.
Let's put the Lakers in there for the fun of it.
All right, Lakers Grizzlies 7-8.
Lakers.
All right, Warriors Spurs.
Warriors, and then the Grizzlies are out. Well, I don't know, man. Grizzlies are healthy now. They've got Triple J back. They've got John Morant, who's playing really well. You've got Grayson Allen and his self making impactful plays.
Steph Curry or the Grizzlies?
I don't know. I think the Grizzlies are a team, man. They might get one over on the Warriors. But Steph Curry, yeah. But Steph Curry is like playing ridiculous basketball too.
So you take
I think Memphis. Yeah.
All right, Utah, Memphis.
Utah, like 5, depending on Mitchell playing or not. He's still not playing basketball.
I got you. He's still out? Is he still out?
They didn't play yesterday. They slapped the Spurs around.
Gotcha. All right. Suns, Blazers. Or Suns, Lakers. I'm sorry.
Suns, Lakers. Oh, that's a first round series, isn't it, Jack?
Yes, sir. That's a good one, huh?
Suns in 4. Get them out of here. Send them back.
Yeah. You're going Suns.
If that happens, that's crazy first round basketball.
Great. I mean, I'll just agree with it. I'll go Lakers
because that is a daunting task.
I'll go Lakers in 6, but
Lakers in 6. I don't know, man. It's really tough.
But you're going Suns, actually.
I don't know. It's hard not to pick the high seed in the playoffs. When's the last time you saw a 7 seed beat a 2 seed?
Not often, but when's the last time you saw a team with as much star power
as
the Lakers be a 7 seed?
Let's see. Celtics this year could be the 7 seed.
Yeah.
I'm joking. They're not quite there, but they're a talented team too. It's hard. I don't know. I'd say it's going to be a very close series. Maybe Phoenix gets the edge, but then you got LeBron in the playoffs. But he said, I don't know. His words, not mine. He might never be 100% again, Jack. He did say that. He might never be at the same level again. He's laying the groundwork for some good old-fashioned excuses.
Oh, yeah. So what's your final choice?
Phoenix. We don't take excuses here, man.
All right. Nuggets, Blazers.
Nuggets. Oh, I don't know, man, because Portland's playing crazy good basketball right now.
Pick one. Gut reaction. Run it through.
I think Portland's gonna win because
All right.
in Denver, they don't have Murray. Like they're just not complete.
All right. Mavericks Clippers.
That's a rematch for you.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Montrezl Harrell isn't there to yell at Doncic this year.
What are you taking? Mavs Clips.
Who's the home team?
Clips.
Clips. Yeah, I'll go with them. I think the
All
Clippers are more talented. Even though Luka is
got,
crazy, they're not deep enough yet.
Then you got Jazz Clips. Or no, I'm sorry. Yeah, Jazz Clips.
Yeah.
Jazz Clips.
See, that's one where if Mitchell's healthy, Utah's a tremendous team. Like, they play together well.
But the Clippers.
The Clippers have more star power. But here's the thing with the NBA is like usually the star power is the one that wins, even if it's a tremendous team, which sucks. I don't know. The Clippers might take it in 7, but if they do what they did last year, the Jazz might sweep them. Sorry, I'm not giving you very good answers, but I'll take.
I got you. All right, Clips, and then you got Blazers Suns is your next one.
Suns will. I think they'll give them the business.
Okay, then Suns Clippers in the Western Conference Finals.
Do we already have the 1 seed lose?
You already had the Jazz 1 seed.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Suns
Suns
have star power and they're a good team.
All right, so then you got Suns Nets in the finals.
Oh, Nets will probably sweep them. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
All right. I'm embarrassed that I let Phoenix get to the finals. To be honest with you, after what they did yesterday. What I was thinking.
You let it happen. But yeah, with that, I think I got to run, unfortunately.
Yeah, I do too.
It's a good little thing. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening for the playoff predictions and everything that it turned into. You can follow us at Bannertown USA. I'm Jack Simone NBA on Twitter, and Sam, wrap us up.
Yeah, thank you very much for listening. We've got a huge week ahead. We'll be back sometime on the weekend. It's a tough schedule for me, busy week. Thank you for listening. I already said that. Like, share, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. We appreciate that. I'm sure we're around 50 subscribers now, but we enjoy putting the videos up there. I mean, I don't turn my camera on for just anybody. It's a lot of work. I used to play Xbox back in the day during the shows. Can't do that anymore. But I enjoy very much. Yeah, Celtics, big game against Chicago. Big weekend against Miami. Very exciting stuff. We'll see you next time. You can follow me at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's our show today. Bye.
Check,